Hello, the game has started. It's me to go first. I have anoxias. And I think this placement is probably not optimal. Let me avoid putting vowels next to premium squares. Anoxias 80. Well, the WU combination not good, but it's not a dreadful rack. And I've got two S's, so I can burn one of them to play wuss. I'm just wondering if unsweets is a word. I don't think it is. I think it's just unsweet. I've got the ness prefix. Now I've got wuss in row J, which is good. Do I have a bingo? So, floating A. And I've got the un prefix, which splits up the U and the W. So unwests is on my rack. Unwastes, not good. Can't see anything ending N or S. So wuss for 20 leaves a pretty good rack leave. And I draw the blank and a pretty good rack. I've got ketenes on my rack, which plays in row K. Now column 11 is a double lane. So do I have a bingo playable there? I'm going to squiz through the alphabet and see if anything leaps into my mind. That looks likely. Can't see anything, so I'm imagining an A with this. Haven't seen anything yet. Okay, my opponent's taken that double spot, so I can stop looking for that. I've got ketenes now in column 13. Hooking yeshivas, which is a nice bingo by my opponent. I've got ketenes in row G, ending with soys, which doesn't open a triple word square lane. So what's going to be best? Any play in row K is going to open up column 1. Any play in column 13 is likewise going to open up row A. So I suppose I could have a play in row M, perhaps ending SS. So I've got ket, blank, and then ness. Well, there could well be something there, but I think as I've got a bingo, I'll put it down. £74 points. Just checking that that hasn't opened up anything amazing. I don't think this row H spot is hugely dangerous, since a high scoring tile can't be on the double letter square. That's pretty grim. No vowels at all. And there aren't any floating vowels in great positions. If this E remains available, I've got cleft, which sorts the rack out, but for a dismal score. Nothing I've got goes after U, so this I isn't particularly useful. I've got row G through this E. But it's difficult to see a great play there. If I play felt, I'm not scoring very much and I'm opening up column 15. Now I've got clift through this I, which sorts the rack out and scores a bit more than cleft, so I am playing next go. Either of those plays is better than changing. $39 for my opponent, a good score for him. My L can go after ZO. So I could play felt down here for 20, or cliffed for 18, 2 fewer points, burning 1 more consonant, and opening up column 15. Well, what a shame I can't play 1 more consonant in column 3. But 3 consonants is much more manageable than 4. I think cliffed takes a Y and an S. I think I do prefer this. I prefer the better rack leave. And, well, my opponent's only 30 points behind, so if he does bingo, I'll be trailing. But I think this is an open enough board. There are bingo lanes on this board. Horrendous. Still no vowels. Do I play through this or change? Well, I've still got the L hook for Zoll. So I could play something like belt, but that's keeping, or welt. But that's keeping a lot of consonants. So I think this may be the time to change. However, I've got blor in row G. That's just been blocked. Does this U assist? I'm now 40 points ahead. So I could play club for 16, keeping R, T, V, W. Both blanks have gone. I don't have a play down here in column 10. I've got nothing which goes after U. I've got welt, but that keeps C, B and V and doesn't score for very much. All the S's have gone, so the cliffed danger is nothing like as great as I thought it was. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, they have all gone. And what about the Y situation? Well, there's the Y of yeshivas and the Y of U. So actually, cliffed has not opened up column 15. 14 minutes on my clock. Should I change? I think I will, because there are some pretty useful floaters on this board with the R of Ruger, A and S of yeshivas, T of cliffed and ketenes, and the E of ketenes. So it's quite a bingo-y board. I don't want to be struggling through crappy racks over several turns for little reward. I'm just pausing in case there's a 25 to 30 point play that I've overlooked. But I don't think there is. I think I'll keep just the R because there are 2 floating T's on the board. That looks a lot nicer. I've got re-earned, making Zoa as well, I think. Yep, so that works. Do I have an alternative bingo? What about with the floating T? Ardenter, not good. Gosh. Can't see anything with the T. What about... Great, my re-earned spot has gone. Stayed rather. I was fearing that it would be taken and I would struggle to find a bingo. Now I'm 20 points ahead. I've definitely got a bingo in column 3. But it doesn't get doubled. Do I have anything through the S? And is there a 7-letter play here? This rack looks excellent. But I've only seen one bingo. And a 7-letter play could play in row K. Well, it's remiss if there is one and I haven't seen it. But I'm going to play the bingo I've seen. Re-earned for 72, and that has value. It obstructs the row K 7-letter lane. And doesn't provide anything super hot. Well, balanced. And with scoring tiles. I don't think Ice Fell is good. Ice Fall is. So I don't think there is a bingo here. So where can my F or C play? I could play Ice Fall through this A for not many points. But that's probably not the best thing I can do. I've got Face in column 4. And I think Face only takes an S, so I'm not opening up row O. It's quite unusual for all the S's and blanks to be played so early in the game. Now, Bay takes an E, and E takes an F. So do I have a 5-letter play ending EF? I don't think I do, but I could just play Clef. Now my opponent's opened up row O, which is quite dangerous. Remaining tiles fairly bingo-y, even though the S's and blanks have gone. So what's my best play in row O? Well, I'm struggling to see anything. Kaylee doesn't get tripled. I don't have to block row O. Let me see what Clef scores up here. 31 points. So that would put me 100 points ahead, so I could certainly survive a non-9-timer bingo. Rackley, not great. Vowel heavy and a ton of I's. And a fair number of E's to come. But that's 31 points. Do I really have nothing in row O? I have Iliac. 21 points, but a nicer rack leave. It's consonants heavy, and I'm pretty much guaranteed to be able to score with the F next go. I'm retaining the EF combo for column 13. Iliac is pretty killing since the C takes nothing in front of it, so this play kills rows N and O. So I will go with this. Not great, I draw the Q. But I've got an I to go with it. There's a floating U in Ruger. That's good. So I can play Quaff for a decent score. I'm close to Filioque. Ouch. Iliac comes off. That's painful and it could be dangerous. Wow, I wasn't expecting that to come off. So am I going to get massively punished? No, only 33 points. That's good. And I'm spared the Q, although with the U it would have been good. So I can play Clef now. That's 31 points. It kills the U spot if my opponent's got the Q, which is good. And I'm just going to have to ride my luck in terms of vowels. Although I note there's a floating S, T and R, all of which go well with this rack leave and R of Ruger. Great, that looks pretty promising. So, Rolamite and Am I Troll are the 8s through an R. Neither of which works. Do I have anything through a T? Don't think so. There's the T. Well, there's the S, and then there's the TS combination. Can't see anything there. This, well, loamiest. Great, that actually fits. Fantastic. It could be blocked. I can't see any bingo lanes I haven't considered. Well, there's the Z. Ah, loamiest blocked, and my opponent scores 40 points. He's only 30 points behind. However, I think he's opened up quite a hot spot here because my M can go underneath the O, and A and O can go between J and R. So let me see what that looks like if an M goes here. So I've got loam for 36, which is a good score. Again, I'm leaving myself a vowel-heavy rack leave. 23 tiles left. 12 vowels, so it's pretty balanced. But I can't see a way of playing off one more vowel. Although I may have overlooked something. However, I think anything scoring well needs to have the M in this spot. And I can't see anything else which works. And this is a pretty decent score, 36 points. So again, I'm riding my luck in terms of drawing a ton of vowels. And I survive again. I don't think there is a 7 here. Can't see an 8 through an R. Although I do have verdit and verdite, which will play off a lot of tiles and score okay. Can't see anything ending with the R or through the R, although it looks like it's close to something. So the V is actually quite a good tile to have on my rack now because it's a scoring tile and it goes well with I and E, so a play of just VIE would leave a decent rack leave. Now, what's my opponent done? He scored 19 points. Ra takes nothing in front of it, but CH takes quite a lot after it, so column 15 is pretty hot. I probably ought to take it out. And I can do that with evited. I hope this isn't another imaginary word, but 42 points is a great score. I could score more if I placed my D after the A. But I can't see a play in that spot. My I could go after CH. No, I can't see anything. And I think it is worth playing the D after evit, even though I'm leaving myself a solitary vowel because it scores 6 more points. Well, not a fabulous rack, but it could have been a lot worse. Remaining tiles fairly bingo-y, and these R's are available as floaters, and they go quite well with the remaining tiles. However, the absence of S's and blanks restricts the likelihood of a bingo, and there's also a couple of non-bingo-y tiles in the Q and the V. However, if my opponent does bingo, it's going to be a close end to the game because I'm only 90 points ahead. So I have scoring tiles, 3 of them, all of which go quite well with I and O, because bio and boy and obi are good, moi is good, and poi is good. So I'm looking around for any spots where any of those play well. Great, no bingo from my opponent. Still the Q out there. 6 tiles in the bag. So I'm just looking at what my opponent has played in case there's a high scoring play. My B and M can go in front of Ode, but nothing I have goes in front of G, so I can forget about that. Now I could play Biome in column 5, which has the advantage of killing both of these R's as floaters. It does, however, provide a spot for the Q. But that might be helpful if I have the Q. It would leave 2 in the bag, and it only scores 16 points. Can I do better? Are there any hot spots I haven't considered? The remaining A's can go in front of Jar. Biome does have the advantage of sorting out the duplicates. 16 points, that just doesn't feel great. But it is good that I'm taking out these floaters, because if my opponent bingoed and I had the Q, I might be in dire straits. Now 6 minutes left, my opponent's got 12. I'm just wondering about playing Moby in this spot just to avoid the Chi possibilities. Now if my opponent has the Q, he can also play Chi in column 6 for 30 odd points. But I'm 70 ahead, so I don't think that's dangerous. But I'm just looking for a better play. I could play Pomb. That doesn't kill the Chi spot there. It does take out the I here. But it burns all my scoring tiles. And it leaves a much worse rack lead. So I think I will go with Biome. Horrendous. I pick up the Q and the V. Remaining tiles very bingo-y. That may have worked out for me because my opponent may well have had a bingo through an R that I've blocked. He still could bingo through the B. And if he does, well, that's just bad luck for me. I'm 80 points ahead. But this QV combo could be pretty deadly. If my opponent bingos through the B, he could be taking out both of the good Q spots. So is there somewhere else for my Q? There's 5 minutes left, so I've got plenty of time. If my opponent bingos and I'm stuck with the Q, but I won't be because I have K'd in row L for not very much, but it does get rid of the Q. I can't get rid of the Q and the V in one go, so I'm likely to have quite a heavy rack. No scoring tiles left, so if my opponent doesn't bingo, well, if he does bingo, he's not going to be able to score very much with his remaining 2 tiles, so I think I should be able to survive a bingo. Because if he does bingo through the B, that's not going to be massively high scoring. Well, could be 80 points. I think the best he can do is draw level. And he hasn't, and he can no longer bingo. He's only got 5 tiles left. So I have my Chi spot here. Rio not good, so I don't have a Q play in column 4 apart from just sticking the Q in front of the I. Well, Chi is better than that. And Chin even betterer. 38 points, I think that's going to be enough to secure the win. Not a great rack. I don't know if my opponent can go out in 1. He can certainly go out in 2, so I think I'm just going to have one more play. I've got Vino in row D. I don't think I've got any V plays with just the tiles on my rack. Can't think of anything which plays through U and onto CHE. VoIP would be good through an I. Not much available. So I haven't seen any V spots apart from Vino. I suspect there are some, and I've got 4 minutes to find them. Well, my spot remains available. All that's good. My opponent's got an I. He can play Chi, and he can play id and it, or high and if. So he's certainly going out. I do have only one more go. What's the best I can do? What I've seen is Vino. That doesn't provide anything great for my opponent. I can't see anything through BI. Well, I think this is certainly winning enough. But there may well have been a better play there. I've seen high and if for my opponents and Chi. High and if slightly better, 1 point better. Iliac, what was I thinking of? Well, I guess Iliac. So my opponent does play there, so pass to end the game. And the final score, 372 to my opponent, 441 to me, a winning margin of 69 points, so a good win. Let's see what I missed. It was me to go first, and I had a great start with Anoxias. My opponent plays U. Unwisest! Wow, there was a bingo here through the eye. Wow, that would have been a fantastic start. I didn't see that. Well done if you did. What did I do? I played Wuss for 20, leaving a decent rack leave, but certainly Unwisest a much better play. Now my opponent has a ton of bingos, including Yeshivas, which was a great spot. And I have a good pickup and have Keteens, which I chose to play at G something. So I got 74, I could have got 6 more points, but that would have been opening up a triple word square, so I think Keteens is fine. Ketones also playable, and Knesset. My opponent plays Zoe. Now I have a couple of tricky racks, all consonants. Fract, where's that? Oh, wow, really nice, parallel to Yeshiva. That would have been a super play, despite the double L, because of the score. Instead I played Clift for 11 fewer points, so Clift and Fract fairly close, but I think Fract edges it. Nice rack for my opponent. He doesn't have a bingo, he plays Ruger. I have another dreadful rack. And I think this is where I changed. And look at these rack leaves, all pretty dreadful, and the scores fairly lame. My opponent has a nice rack, but no bingo. Plays boy. And wow, re-earned the only bingo. Well, I'm glad I didn't spend longer looking for a non-existent other one. No bingos for my opponent. He plays a twee, and now I disgrace myself with a phony. Fell 6 through the S. Clef, the move I played next turn. I'm just looking to see if there was anything in row O, but I don't think there's anything being suggested here. Anyway, I phonied. My opponent didn't have a bingo, although he has a pretty nice rack, so I got out of jail there. Now, Fell 6 still available, and I played Clef. And those moves look pretty close. My opponent has Joyce, and at this point I'm just 30 points ahead. Atom N7. Oh well, that's just where I played Loam. I think Loam is better because the T is better than the L. My opponent plays Ra. Now I have Evited for 42. Ivied, possibly a better play. 3 fewer points, but is ET 3 better than I? Look, it looks pretty close. Not a nice rack for my opponent. He plays Pong. I was fearful of a bingo, but it's more of a possibility than a likelihood with the remaining tiles. So, nothing huge available here. I scored less, but I think I had a better rack leave. And I think that's... You can see how close my opponent was to a bingo, so I think there was merit in blocking these R's. Now, my opponent doesn't have a bingo, plays Targa. Quiche D10. Oh wow, there is a use something chi play. 40 points for quiche, that would have been fun. Instead I played chin for 38, not much difference there, but it would have still been a fun word to play. My opponent can't go out, plays eel. And I played Vino, I played Vino for 14, keeping DP. I could have got 27 for Dop B4. Yeah, and I think that would have been better. Because my opponent can't benefit from sticking me with the V because he's only got one tile to play. Anyway, the game was won, so I didn't pay much attention to getting the best possible play at the end. So a pretty interesting game. It got off to a great start, and I then hit some heavy weather in the middle with my consonant-only racks, but it was good to have racks like that to consider. One occasion I played through it, and one occasion I changed, and those are really your alternatives. So I hope you enjoyed watching that, and I will see you next time.